we have a guest here. I mean, he's a friend. He's a friend. He's a brother. He's a mentor. He's a confidant.
Okay.
We're excited to have actor, producer, stand-up comedian, and now adding director to his repertoire. Mr. Chris Spencer is in the building, y'all. Come on, y'all.
Yay.
Make some noise for Mr. Chris Spencer.
Thank you very much.
In the building.
We got writer.
Writer? I did.
Writer.
I didn't say writer.
No, you left that out.
My
Strong
bad.
black
My
dad.
bad.
Yeah, all those
Yes.
things.
Dad.
Dad, father, husband, all
Husband.
that stuff. All that stuff, man.
Philanthropist.
So you
I'm
say
saying.
philanderer.
Hey, boy, you about to get us all shouted here. Somebody will come from behind that curtain, bro.
Baby, what are you doing here?
we can edit that. Don't worry.
That was on purpose.
That was on purpose. Okay, you let it go. Let's go.
Lady, he forgot. Did he say comedian too?
Yeah,
he did say
Yes,
that.
I did. I didn't forget that.
And I wrote the joke because I'm a writer.
Yes.
On the fly. It's
Listen,
crowd work.
this man here, Chris Spencer, has worked with everyone from Barack Obama, Kevin Hart, and Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke.
Scruncho, Lil G.
Scruncho,
I mean,
Lil G,
I don't limit
everybody.
myself to these jokes.
Yes.
Co-creator of Real Husbands of Hollywood, along with Kevin Hart
And
and
White Famous.
yes,
On Showtime.
which our own Buddy Lewis.
No, stop. Yes.
Buddy Lewis and Chris Spencer created that for Showtime.
We weren't proud of it though.
Listen,
It was snatched out of our hands.
did the check clear?
Not the ones we should have got.
Not the
Right,
ones.
right.
We
No.
were
You
supposed
get the
to
consolation
get.
checks.
Yeah, we got them. I still get them consolation checks like, oh, wow, the green envelope. Oh,
Yeah.
$20.
Rice-A-Roni.
Yeah, you can tell the size of the check by the color, like the white, the green, and it's
Yeah.
like a blue.
Yeah,
you know when it's cheap.
No, but we got tricked out of that, the big ones.
Listen, hey, you know my story about one-on-one.
Right.
What happened? God rest her soul, Enetta Boone. I was young in the game, created this show. Got to sell it. I sold the show to Green Black John Lowry, hired a writer, and the rest is history.
Oh yeah.
But it's something that we should.
Well, you know, the created by is the most coveted position
Yes.
in Hollywood.
Yes.
I got a little joke. You want to hear it?
Yes.
This is a joke. So there's a writer.
Uh-huh.
He's trying to write a script. I think I've told you this. This is one of my favorite stories about created by. He's writing a script. He gets writer's block. He falls asleep. He wakes up. He looks on his computer. The script is written. He reads it. It's incredible. He gives it to his agent. His agent's like, oh my God, this is the best thing you've ever done. They sell it. The movie makes $100 million. His agent says, can you do it again? He goes, I think so. He goes back to writing. He falls asleep. He wakes up. The script is written. It's incredible. Gives it to the agent. They make the movie. It makes $200 million. So he's living high on the hog. And things started getting, he needs another hit. He's been spending all this money. So his agent's like, can you write another one? He's like, sure, I think. So he goes back to write another movie. And this time he pretends to fall asleep. He wakes up. There's a little pixie on his computer writing. He said, hey man, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm sorry. He goes, are you writing my script? He goes, yeah. He goes, did you write my first script? He's like, yeah. He said, did you write my second script too? He's like, yeah. He goes, oh my God, I owe you everything. He goes, no, I don't want anything. He says, come on, man, how about $1 million? He's like, no, 2 million, 3 million. What do you want? He goes, no, I really just love the joy it brings to writers when the project is done. Come on, man, there's got to be something you want. And the guy goes, oh, well, how about a writer's credit? And the guy goes, get the fuck out of here.
Nothing.
Now, a lot of people, especially the audience, they don't understand that process. Now, just break that down for us a little bit, that created by it process, because like you said, so many of us have fallen victim.
So what happens is, because I learned, because after I had to fight for the created by credit for Real Husbands, because we did it as a sketch on an award show. Mm-hmm. And so other people who wrote on the award show had the ability to lay claim as a writer because they were a writer on the show. Mm-hmm. So I had to prove on my computer and go, this is, look. So what happens with the WGA is, and what you didn't know is, you and Yonetta went in and pitched it.
No. I went and pitched and sold it.
Right. Okay.
before.
So you sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought Unetta in,
Right,
but
yeah.
Unetta put her fingers on the computer and
Right.
typed it up,
Right.
and she can prove that Flex didn't do any typing.
Right.
Typing which is writing
Right.
to them,
Right.
and so thus you didn't get created by credit, and it wasn't something you were fighting for because you assumed this shit is about my life,
Yeah.
and so I should naturally get created
Right.
by. But that's not how they see it, and you never knew.
Now, had I had a treatment, whatever done with the story registered, would that have protected me? Really?
The script.
Oh, so
Now it could have been about the life of a story by, but created by is some
Typing. And
So
some-
you-
And then if there's two
create-
more, if there's three writers, what's it called? You have to go through arbitration
Arbitration.
to prove that. Well, how all three of y'all do this? You know what I mean?
Right.
and that's how we won. That's how
Wow.
we had to fight.
Yeah, on White Famous.
On White Famous because I'm sure it caused a stink because Chris and I had notes galore from the opening log line.
Yes.
And Buddy Lewis ain't no dummy.
Yeah.
We registered the idea that we had. It wasn't called White Famous. Actually, it was called Joker's Wild. And so we wrote out like we had scenes, we had
treatments.
treatment stories, we
Yeah.
had everything. So when it came time for the creative credit, they still were using some of the stuff that we had put on
Right.
paper
Right.
months, before and had
We even
registered
met these
it.
people.
Right.
And so we hadn't even met the writer who ultimately became the show running producer. He hadn't even met us. We never even talked to him.
Right.
But they had excluded us out of the process.
Mm.
And he wrote, from what I understand, he wrote all the episodes. Even the writers
Wow.
that were in the room were like, hey, man, I didn't write nothing. He wrote them all. He was just
Wow.
in the room.
Wow.
Because he got credit he got not only a
And we were
producer,
fired before that.
we
Before the
got
show
fired.
went to air,
We got fired.
we didn't pick any of the cast. We were fired, and then they hired the guy who created Californication.
right.
Right.
And if you saw White Famous, it looked like White Californication Famous.
Right.
It looked exactly like that show.
Yeah, Californication colorized.
Oh,
So what would be the advice then, right? Let's say somebody does have an idea. Is it the advice as simple as put together the pitch deck, write the script, get both of those registered, and then demand
Well, just
that
know-
you stay attached to it?
When you hire, let's say you're not a writer, but it's your idea. You want to make sure in this meeting when you're going to meet with writers that we are going to share created by credit.
That's
Right.
that's got to be a
So
Yes.
if I gotta write, and then I write act 1, you write act 2, whatever, or we're in the room together writing it, whatever that process is, whatever we can figure out together, that's gonna, if we zoom in, whatever, but I want created by credit with you.
Right.
Are you okay with that? No? Good. How about you?
Right.
No? Good. How about you? Yes. All right, let's go write this script together.
Right.
If that's something that's important to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not important to the star. He knows he's going to go get his money, especially if he's a stand-up, because if this is my show and I'm Martin Lawrence, I'm going to make zillions on the road. I'm going to get endorsements. So this is not something created by, is not something that's important to me. You know what I mean? And back when you got your show,
Yeah.
Flex, you, Martin, Curry, I don't even think Roseanne, nobody had, it wasn't an important thing because we were trying to be stars.
Right.
This writing thing became more popular as we moved along in this industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And that was the factory setting, right? Stand up gets you a show. The show is what boosts you. Tim Allen, like you said,
Yep,
Roseanne,
Tim.
Right.
D.L. Hughley, you. It was that was what
Well,
you
really,
was
at the
time,
fired to do.
and one of the things initially about a lot of sitcoms where they were the created manifestations of their stand-up acts.
Right.
So like, Tim Allen, he did the two-time thing. He did that in his act.
Right.
Roseanne talked about being a housewife in her act.
Yeah.
But Curry talked about that stuff, that a lot of the stuff that was in the pilot, especially in his act.
Yeah.
So one of the things they used to look for was, what's the theme? What's your
Point of view.
yes, your
Point of view,
POV
yeah,
as a
yeah.
comic? That was a big thing so that they could create a show
Right.
about your
sometimes
stand-up
it'll be
act.
like based on the stand-up of
act,
Jerry
right.
Seinfeld.
Mhm.
Right.
But to get created by, there's got to be some,
You got to
Right.
do the work.
And
basically.
Woody Carter told me
Yeah.
the story. George Lopez told me an amazing story about his journey, his show Sandra Bullock,
Right.
came out to see him, jumped on board, loved him. And the producer, I forget the EP who he worked with. Luckily, he had a great EP that was like fought for him and went to the network because he said they were not trying to give it to him. He was like, "This is my life. Like this stand up is my life." And the executive producer said, "Listen," to the network. He said, "Hey, I couldn't write any of this without him, without his input, his life. Like me sitting down, I would never be able to do it. He needs to get it." And that's how he got it. As for me, I wasn't at the time, I wasn't a stand-up. I was still kind of doing it, but my deal wasn't based off of like a lot of those back in the day where, stand up, get, a show. This was something, a friend who was a teenage father, kind of mixed with, I saw LL Cool J Coca-Cola commercial and he was doing his daughter's hair. It was crooked ponytails. I'm like, yeah, that's a great show. And then, I just kind of merged the two together. And that's where it came from. And so, once I pitched it, it was really nothing going on. But, the initial deal was with ABC. And the fight was, well, not the fight, later it became a fight, but there was an initial script deal. There was a different writer. And that writer didn't really accomplish what I pitched. And they passed on the script deal. So about a year and a half later, I was like, yo, I told my agent I want to go back out with it and I want to do the show that I, set out to pitch. So went out, pitched it myself, the original idea, and that's what happened. And I met with about 6 writers, and Unetta was God rest her soul was the one I chose, and it taught me a lesson, man. It taught me to force myself to write and be involved, because I would just be like, okay, all right, yeah, do this, do that, boom, boom, boom. But now I'm like, no, I'm writing everything out, the deck, everything. I'm going back and forth. I got emails, notes, everything. Like, I'm not.